Okay, I'll admit it, that's a fairly clickbaity thumbnail I've got up there, but that's because I'm amazed that this album, Rupert Hine's Immunity, hasn't got more love over the years or even when it was released. I mean, it even had a hit single on it, Misplaced Love, right there, featuring on the incredible 1981 Rocks On compilation. There he is down there, and coming straight after Betty Davis Eyes by Kim Carnes. So, I mean, he's got an absolute hit going on there until I realised that it was only in Australia where Misplaced Love charted and, of course, gave a little bit of impetus to the album itself, Immunity. But I am surprised that it wasn't more of a hit like in the UK because it features post punk, new wave with edgy sounds and cold, stark themes and lyrics by Jeanette Therese Obstoy. I hope I'm saying that right. It's a disquieting dystopian album. I mean, look at the cover. It really looks like something out of a 21st century surreal masterpiece by René Magritte with the faceless lovers there. And on the inner sleeve as well, old Rupert's tied up there like a mummy in the most compromising and position of surrender you've ever come across. So if you love this album and you know this album, then shout it out in the comments, please, and stick around. And if you don't know this album, then stick around also, because I really want to take this opportunity to persuade you that you should listen to Immunity by Rupert Hine. Anyway, let's get on with it. The album begins with I Hang On to My Vertigo, and it starts with this high synth screech, and then the song kicks in with a robotic rhythm, all overlaid with synth, piano, and Rupert's cold vocals, which are shockingly absent of any reverb or delay, mainly throughout the album, which ties back into that sort of breathless image that we have on the cover. It's a very, as I said, dry, suffocating sound. And tension builds as we get to the chorus, but there's no let up at all. Love the lyrics here. Spinning alone, I look down. I'm unshy on the skyline. Hiding at home, don't you feel low? Wasting your breath in your friend's time. Up, up, oh. I want to be alone. Me on the high wire. But I'm over your head. On the high wire, so close to falling, but it's all could come down on us. And then we have an antidote of sorts in the single Misplaced Love, as I mentioned before. And this is a killer pop song with a great hook, wonderful melodies, and I love the simplicity of the boom, cha, boom, cha, that kick bass and the snare driving rhythm. So much so that I once stole it for a song of my own. And then we've got that signature synth line and the backing vocals that are ow, wow, 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 and a great vocal from Rupert coming over the top. And then comes a truly bizarre bridging vocal from Marianne Faithfull, who's guesting on this, who sounds like some sort of chain smoking bullfrog. I don't know. But then the lyrics go, what accident of stars brought you so late into my arms, where even now another sleeps? Here in my heart, I know that you and I are one. Still, for a love song, it's kind of a depressing song as well. And then we move into a quieter zone here and we go for Samsara. Now, at the time back in 1981, I had absolutely no idea what a Samsara was, but now I know it's a condition where you're running around in circles, aimless wandering or drifting. And the lyrics, Samsara was the state I lived in, a destination with no check-in. Synth percussion has always sounded to me like a ghost train crossing the Sahara. Samsara, close enough, opens the songs. And that and the synth and the vocals creates this really gloomy atmosphere that permeates throughout the song. And that's the thing about the tension. I used to think this one was a bit of a skipper, but the tension slowly grows on you until, like a virus, you're trapped. I love the beautiful quiet section with marimbas in the middle. Absolutely gorgeous. And the lyrics, some teacher told me I was gifted. Her number wasn't even listed. I wasn't sure that she existed. And then the next song is Surface Tension. So now we're bringing tension to the fore, and it sort of jolts you away from the Sahara. I mean, Samsara. Tension abounds again with percussion evoking a rapidly clicking clock, like a countdown to chaos, or in this case, from claustrophobia, which then explodes into this agoraphobia when we get to the chorus. Rupert's vocals on fire throughout, as complex layers of synthesizers that get more detailed further the song and further the tension as it progresses. Absolutely awesome. It's only surface tension, but break it and we sink. Reach out for the master's mask. The wound is deeper than you think. Killer song, absolutely brilliant. And then we go into some, excuse me, very deep and dark territory with I Think a Man Will Hang Soon. We're hanging on to a Vertigo, Misplaced Love, Surface Tension, and now I Think a Man Will Hang Soon. We're getting truly bizarre, but else would you expect with this title? The bass piano notes sounds like an executioner's axe, and the synths recreates crazed sirens that are dragging you towards the rocks and destruction. And the vocals throughout the vocals are tight-throated and clenched in agony. And then right in the middle, we get a relenting of all this tension for our absolutely horrifying nursery rhyme section of a woman scorned his witness, a woman scorned his witness, and they believe her innocence. In sweet revenge she has one need. The ace is safe inside her sleeve. And then a real live band. Not to say what we had before is not live, but not real. But now we're going into live, and we get this massive pounding of drums, bass, and these epic guitars and keys, which remind me a lot of sections from Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar, when that sort of really kicks into its early 70s groove. And it almost has a sort of Floydian Run Like Hell feel to it. And that's the outro, which takes us to the end of side A. Side A then kicks off with the title track, Immunity, which is a jaunty, poppy, marimba-filled opening that gets us straight into the chorus. There's a killer guitar solo in here from Phil Palmer. Awesome playing. And it might have been another hit single, except that it was only released on 45 in Australia. But all that poppiness that we have in there belies the themes of dystopia and within the lyrics, and back to that imagery, that virus imagery again, the immunity, the antidote. But it's not like it's from a disease, it's from life and from humanity. No vexation, no frustration, least of all, no pain or penetration, and no contamination. Immunity, my way of hiding when the truth hurts me. Another truly disturbing opening for a song comes with Another Stranger. And we've got Rupert's voice sounding really robotic here. And 80s computer glitches and scrambles feature as part of the texture, not only in the music, but also in the lyrics. Remember nonsense, you were its witness while computers searched for fame. Computers searching for fame, visualizing and predicting, of course, AI in the future. Again, there's an absolutely fantastic, stellar piece of guitar work from Phil Palmer in the moody, quiet sections, and various key changes add to an increase in tension throughout. And just when you think there's going to be a melodic letdown or breakdown or a release, it's intercut by more discordance. Another Stranger is a difficult listen, but an entirely appropriate one when you consider the subject matter. And as if things can't get any weirder, we then go into Psycho Surrender, and we have bottles being smashed in a vaguely crazed take on a music hall sing-along in the chorus with that pa feel. It's all very Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht. I love the stoic and strident change in the coda. Big, powerful drums come in to accompany Rupert's absolutely brilliant wailing. And the lyrics, she stroked the telephone, she touched the radio, she felt the magazine, but she couldn't even scream. The cinema was far too far. Woman sick of slimming, eat the pills of the living. Which brings us up to the Paranoid, and it can only be described as a paranoid, excuse me, epic to finish, and it's Make a Wish. The opening section is disjointed and deliberately discorded before the insane complexity in the arrangement explodes into the main section of the song. I mean, this is a production masterclass, and as we know, Rupert Hine was well known for his production work with people like Tina Turner, The Fix, among many other people. A gorgeous middle section of Hope is in there, and Didn't You Love New York, and The Sight of Natural Green. A sad adventure this has been, but now my mind is new and clean. We'll meet again in another dream. Make a wish for all you've seen. But we're not getting we're not getting off that easy. Not on Immunity, not by Rupert Hine, because returning to that idea of the musical, this clearly is the finale of a demented rock opera with a huge swell of sounds, almost a day in the life esqueness that just builds and builds and then cuts off suddenly and leaves us with silence. And that is the epic that is Immunity by Rupert Hine. Killer album. So Immunity was released in 1981 and became part of a triptych of solo albums, which I think now has been re-released as a box set called Surface Tension. And I know that he released albums under his own name in the 70s and with a band in the 70s and then the Think Man Project in the 80s and so forth. And he did some amazing things in terms of production. But it's this triptych of albums which always to me is the high point of his musical career, for my liking, that's for sure. The second album is 1982's Waving Not Drowning, which I can highly recommend. And there's Rupert in the Sahara, experiencing a little bit of Samsara and a little bit of peaceful burial, overground, underground, not sure. Some killer tracks on this. The 11 Faces, which is so chaotic to open the album. And then the catchy and unforgettable The Setup. Still a weird choice for a single, but it's great. I love the marimba madness of Innocence in Paradise. And then the dreamy soundscape and beauty of The Outsider. Great album from 1982. And in 1983, he put out this album, The Wildest Wish to Fly. And this one gets sort of a bit of negative press in terms of maybe there's a drop down in quality from the previous two albums, and the band changed slightly, but still there are some great moments on this. There's a real misstep, in my opinion, of the opening song, Living in Sin. Now that is Marimba Madness, Calypso Marimba Madness. But then as we get up towards the end of side A, we do have a wonderful wraparound of songs that take us from the end of side A into side B. There's the ethereal sumptuousness of Fireflies in the Night, and a Golden Age finishes off the side strongly. And then Picture Phone opens up side B with Robert Palmer on backing vocals, and it's got some great lyrics. I'll be stripped to the skin, you'll be stripped to the bone, and we'll all say no to the picture phone. Well, I don't think we did somehow. But the song, of course, warns us of the dangers of allowing the world to see our lives, and be careful what we wish for. Then we have the incredible The Victim of Wonderlust, which was a single off this album. And I also love the following song, The Most Dangerous of Men. So there's enormous treasures to be experienced and to be enjoyed if you dig into these three albums, that's for sure. And I've really had a great pleasure listening to all three over the last couple of nights, and refamiliarizing myself with why I love these albums so much. And so that's why I'm suggesting to you, if you haven't listened to this album, and particularly Immunity, before, then I really recommend you should give it a spin. But don't forget that if music of any style or sound gives you pleasure, then who am I to argue with your opinion? I hope you've enjoyed coming on this journey with me through Rupert Hine's triptych of albums in 1981 to 1983, and maybe that you might give this video a like or subscribe or check out one of the other album reviews. It'd be most appreciated if you do. But until next time, I hope you're all doing super well, and bye now.